Welcome all for Information Security System class. Today we are going to see the topic of Introduction for Information Security System. So let's see what is information security. We start with an example. We all use Google Pay, Phone Pay or Paytm, right? Every time we use these apps, we are trusting the system with our money. But what happens if the app gets hacked or if someone changes the transaction details? We might lose money, right? That's why we need information security. Let's see what is information security as a definition. Information security simply means protecting our information so that it remains secret, correct, and available when needed. It is a set of practices and protocols. When protecting information from unauthorized access, changes, or loss. So it stays confidentiality, integrity, and availability is also called as CR trial. Information security is built on three pillars. It is also called as core principle for information security. It is nothing but CR triad. In CR triad, C stands for confidentiality, I stands for integrity, A stands for availability. So confidentiality is nothing but keep it secret. Confidentiality makes sure that the only information is available to those who have the right authorization and no one else. This could mean implementing encryption, cryptography, or just having tough passwords. For example, WhatsApp. It is used on end-to-end encryption so that only you and the person you message can read the chat. Next one is integrity. Integrity is nothing but keep it correct and unaltered. Integrity is all about making sure that data is not tampered with, that it remains the same state you left it as. For example, when you transfer rupees 500 via Google Pay, it should not suddenly become rupees 50 or rupees 500 in the system. That is called integrity. Availability is nothing but keep it accessible when you need. Availability is all about making sure that our data is always available to people who are authorized to access it. This could mean having backups, or it could mean having the right amount of resource pools to support the data. For example, imagine UPI server. If it is go down on New Year evening, no one can make payments at midnight parties, right? That's a failure of availability. So next is assets and asset type. In information security, an asset means anything valuable, just like your phone, laptops, or even your college ID card is valuable to you, right? Likewise, companies also have assets too. So there are three main asset types in information assurance. First is information asset, next is physical asset, and another one is software asset. Information asset is nothing but your Aadhaar data or customer details. Physical assets stands for your college server room or lab computers. The next one is software asset. Is nothing but the ERP system that stores student attendance. So assets value depends on lost impact and recovery cost and competitor advantages and reputational damage. So next is threat, vulnerability, risk and impact. Threat is nothing but a potential cause of harm. For example, hackers trying to steal your ATM pins or passwords. Next is vulnerability, a weakness that can be exploited. So it's nothing but using your name as your password, or you can use a password as 1234. These are comes under vulnerability. Another one is risk, the chance of harm when a threat exploits a vulnerability. For example, high chances of hacker can guess your passwords, right? So, next one is impact, the consequence of a risk happening, which drives how we manage it. So, for example, your bank account gets emptied. So, the next one is components of an information system. So, these are the components: hardware, software, data, people, and process, and networks are the components. So, for hardware, the example is servers and laptops, and the security concern is theft, damage, and tampering. So then software compound having the example of apps and OS. The security concern will be bugs and malware vulnerability. The component is next is data. The example is document and databases. The security concern for data is leakage and or corruption. So the next one is people. For example, for people component users and admins. The security concern is social engineering insider risk. So the next component is process. Example for process is business rules. The security concern for process is policy gaps and mismanagement. The last thing is network. The network example is Wi-Fi and internet. The security concern will be sniffing MITM attacks. The another most important topic in digital world, the principles of information security management. In an era where data is power and information drives every decision. So ensuring that this information is protected, trustworthy, and available has become a top priority for every organization. Over the next 20 minutes, we are going to explore what information security management really means, why it matters, and how its 6 foundational principles are. So, there are 6 foundation principles: planning, policy, programs, protecting, people, and projects. These are known as 6 Ps, from the backbone of secure and well managed enterprises. Here we are going to see about the role of InfoSec management. Let's begin with a simple question. What does the information security management team actually do? Like any other management unit, the info security team uses the same leadership and planning methods, but its goals are quite different. The primary mission of the information security management team is to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information, often referred to as the SIA triad. While IT management focus on keeping systems fast, efficient, and operational, the information security team's job is to make sure that these systems remains secure, even if that sometimes means slowing things down to verify, validate, or protect information. Security, but its very nature, introduce checks and controls, and that can sometimes create friction between the IT team and the information security team. For instance, IT may want faster performance while information security insists on extra authentication layers or encryption. While information security insists on extra authentication layers or encryption, which could slightly reduce speed but dramatically increases protection. So, to manage this balance, most organizations have a chief information security officer who leads the information security team and usually reports to the chief information officer. But because both roles have different priorities, conflicts can arise. That's why communication and alignment at the executive levels are so crucial. Now, to understand how information security is managed effectively, we turn to what's known as the 6 Ps. These 6 principles summarize the entire philosophy of security management. They are planning, policy, programs, protection, people, and projects. Each of these principles plays a unique role. Together, they help an organization not only respond to threats, but also anticipate and prevent them before they occur. Let's look at each of these 6 in details. Planning. Planning is the foundation of information security management, just as a building requires a solid blueprint. A secure organization needs a secure strategical plan. The planning process in information security management involves design, creating, and implementing security strategies that align with the goals of every department, and especially in the IT department. In most organizations, the business strategy drives the IT strategy, and the IT strategy in turn informs the information security strategy. The CISO collaborates closely with other executives, including the CIO and department heads, to make sure that the security plans support the overall direction of the company. From these strategy plans comes operational and tactical plans. And what this operational plan is defined how daily security activities are carried out, while tactical plans focus on specific technical actions, such as system monitoring, incident handling, or data encryption. The goal of planning is to make sure that short-term action support long-term objective. Every tactical plan contribute to operational goals, and all operational goals together help achieve the strategic vision of the organization. Several types of plans are created within this framework. These include incident response planning, which defines how to react the security incidents, business continuity and disaster recovery planning, which ensure the business can operate even after a disruption, policy planning, which sets behavioral and technical guidance, risk management planning, which identifies and reduces potential threats, and security program planning, which oversees all these initiatives. So, in short, planning ensures that every security action has a clear purpose and a measurable outcomes. Without a plan, security becomes reactive, and that's where mistakes happen. Once planning sets the direction, policy defines the rules that guide behavior. Policies are written backbone of the information security. They define what is allowed and what is forbidden, and what even employee must do to protect organizational assets. In the context of information security, we deal with three main type of policies. Enterprise Information Security Policy, which is a high-level document created by senior leadership. It defines the overall security philosophy of the organization. and sets the tone for the entire information security environment. Another one is issue specific security policy, which deals with particular issues such as email usage, internet access, or password management. These policies help ensure that employees follow consistent and safe practices when using specific tools or system. System specific policy, which merge management direction with technical configuration details. These includes instruction for system administrations and engineers on how to configure, maintain, and secure technology system properly. In summary, policies translate strategies in everyday action. They make sure that every person in the organization understands their responsibility when it comes to protecting information. The third principle, programs, refers to specific ongoing security operations that are managed as individual entities. These programs ensure that security is not a one time task but a continuous effort. For example, one of the most important programs is the Security Education, Training, and Awareness Program. It is commonly known as SETA. This program helps employees understand security risks. It recognizes threats such as malwares and follow the correct procedures to protect data. Another key example is the risk management program, which could involve identifying, assessing, and controlling risk that could harm information assets. They are also called as contagious program, such as incident response, disaster recovery, and business continuity. These programs prepare the organization for unexpected events and ensure that it can recover quickly when disruptions occur. In some organizations, additional programs may involve physical security, covering fire protections, access control, and surveillance and privacy programs that focus on protecting customer data and meeting legal or regular requirements. Each program operates under the large information security umbrella, but together they create a comprehensive defensive strategy. Next, we move to the fourth principle, protection. Protection is where all the planning, policies, and programs come together in practices. This is the part where actual security controls, technologies, and mechanisms are implemented to safeguard the organization assets. Protection involves both preventive and deductive measures. Preventive measures stops incidents before they happen. For example, using firewalls, encryption, access control, and secure authentication system. Deductive measures such as intrusion detection system monitor activities and alter the team when something unusual occurs. Effective protection also includes risk management. When potential threats are continuously identified, analyzed, and mitigated, it's important to remember that protection is not only about technology, it's all about procedures and policies. Even the best tool can fail if the procedure supporting team are weak. In essential, Protection is the visible layer of information security, the one that directly defends data, network, and systems from the harm. Now let's talk about the fifth and most crucial principle, people. It's often said that technology does not make mistakes, people do. And that's why exactly peoples are the both strongest and weakest link in the security chain. This principle covers two main areas. First, the security personnel or the professionals who manage and implement security. And second, the security of personnel, which means protecting employees themselves and their personal information. But people also include every employee in the organization, from top executives to new hires. That's where the setup program, which is nothing but security, education, training, and awareness, comes in again. Though regular training and awareness campaign, employees learn how to recognize phishing emails and use strong passwords, handling sensitive data safely, and report suspicious behavior. When people understand security, they become active defenders rather than accidental risk. Investing in people is often the best security investment an organization can make. Finally, we come to the sixth P, projects. Every major security effort, whether it's rolling out a new firewall, launching a training program, or upgrading an encryption system, should be treated as a project. That means applying standard project management principle, defining goals, allocating resource, tracking progress, and adjusting plans as needed. By managing security work as projects, organization ensure that every initiative has a clear purpose, a defined timeline, and measurable results. Project management also helps integrated security initiatives with other parts of the business. For example, when a company upgrades its network, security measures can embedded in the project plan from the very start rather than added later as an afterthought. In short, project management brings structure and accountability to security operations to ensure that good ideas actually become effective realities. Thank you for listening.